Hello YouTube and welcome back to another Dare to Game video. Today I'm playing Elden Ring and we're going to be bringing you the top 11 best quality axes. So that's just the axes, single-handed ones, that do not require any arcane, intelligence, or faith to use. So just strength and dexterity. And just like always, I'm going to be ranking these based on their stats and I'll be showing you the exact locations of how to find them. So let's just dive on in and start off with number 11, the hand axe, which you can see I'm wielding here and looks like a pretty standard single bit camp axe. A little bit bigger than a hatchet, a little bit smaller than a proper axe. As far as attributes required to use this one, 9 for strength, 8 for dexterity. It's got a C scaling for dexterity and D for strength. As far as our attack power on this one goes, it is 575, so pretty good. It has the quick step weapon art, which is pretty cool for an axe, and can be upgraded using Ashes of War. So fun thing about the quick step, it allows us to kind of jump around a little bit, giving you a little bit increased mobility, which I like. As far as how to get this axe, it's really easy. So you can get it right away here in Limgrave, and you can buy it from this nomadic merchant right here. So if you're starting from Fort Height West, which is where I'm at, I'll just show you the path. And so you can see you can pick it up from him for 600 runes. So that's number 11, the hand axe. Let's move on to number 10. All right, and so at number 10 we have the forked hatchet, which you can see we're wielding here. It doesn't really look like an axe. It's kind of just two little prongs on a thing, but you know, whatever. As far as attributes required to use this one, 9 for strength, 14 for dexterity, has a C rating for dexterity scaling, and D for strength. It does have a passive effect, and that is that it causes 50 points of blood loss buildup. This one also has the quick step weapon art with it initially, but it can be upgraded using Ashes of War. So this one's pretty nice because it does have that additional blood loss buildup. As far as how to get this one, basically, it's a random drop from imps that use this weapon. So you can find imps all around the map. Basically, almost all catacombs will have them. So we're over here by Murkwater Catacombs in Limgrave, just because it's a nice early one. And you literally just have to run down the initial stairs and into the first room, and you will see 2 of these imps that actually have this weapon. So, pretty dang easy. All you gotta do is not get killed by them, and watch out because it does make you bleed. But, kill them over and over and over again until one of them will eventually drop it. And obviously there's more imps throughout the catacomb, but really, you can just keep killing these first 2 and respawning, and eventually you will get it. So that's number 10, the forked hatchet. Let's move on to number 9. All right, and so at number 9, we have the CELEBRANT'S Cleaver, which is, again, strictly speaking, not really an axe, but it is in the axe category for this weapon class. Our attributes required to use this one are 12 for strength, 8 for dexterity, have a D rating in dexterity scaling, and C for strength. Our attack power on the CELEBRANT'S Cleaver is 594, so pretty dang good. This one starts with the Wild Strikes weapon art, which is one of my favorites, and can be upgraded using Ashes of War. So the Wild Strikes just looks like this. After build up, you just start to wildly strike, and it doesn't stop until you get taken out of it. It's actually a pretty effectual attack, especially if you add like a blood affinity onto it. Not bad there. As far as how to get this one, you have to make your way up into the Altus Plateau region and come to the Windmill Village, because you're going to have to find the cackling, dancing hags that wield it and kill them. Now this is not very hard because they're not all that dangerous of an enemy. See, this one here is wielding it. Most of them are wielding it, in fact. And I like coming here as just a general grinding spot anyway, so honestly, pretty straightforward process of getting this one. You just keep killing the dancing hags until eventually one of them will drop it, and then you've got it. So that is number 9, the CELEBRANT'S Cleaver. Let's move on to number 8. Alright, so at number 8 we have the Highland axe, which is actually one of my favorite looking axes in the game. It's got a pretty standard bearded axe appearance, obviously just being a little bit too large proportion-wise, but pretty cool looking. As for attributes required to use this one, got 9 for dexterity and 12 for strength, has a D scaling in dexterity and C in strength. Our attack power on the Highland axe is 602, so a little bit above the last one. This one starts with the Warcry weapon art and can be upgraded using Ashes of War. So as far as how to get this weapon, you have to make your way up here to the Stormvale Castle in Limgrave, and starting from the Rampart Tower site of Grace, just follow the path that I'm going to show you here. It's pretty simple. Normally, when you first enter this room, there will be a grafted Scion boss to defeat, but once you have, you can come over here to this large painting on the wall, which is a pretty cool looking painting, and this body resting against the wall will have the Highland axe on it. So again, here we are on the map, if you want to just put a map marker down, but that is where you find it. So that is number 8, the Highland axe. Let's move on to number 7. Alright, so at number 7 we have the warped axe, which as the name would make you believe, it is slightly warped, but other than that, just a standard fantasy oversized double-bitted battle axe. Attributes required to use this one are 24 for strength and 8 for dexterity. This one does not scale with dexterity, but has a B rating for strength, so it scales pretty dang well with strength. Our attack power on this one is 613, so a little bit above the last. It starts with the Warcry weapon art and can be upgraded using Ashes of War. As far as how and where to get this one, well, it's a random drop from Omen type enemies, and you can find them all over the map. There are some in Cliff Bottom Catacombs. You can find some where I'm at here by the abandoned coffin site of Grace. It's probably the best place to get them, at least in my opinion. But there's also some of them in the subterranean shunning grounds under Lindell Capital if you want to go over there. But honestly, I think the abandoned coffin area is probably the best because there's a number of them here. Basically, you can see one sitting up on top of that cart there. There's one up on over there. Basically, you just have to keep killing them until one of them will drop it. Obviously, they have to be the kinds that are actually wielding this, but once you've killed them, they have a chance to drop it. And it seems to be about a 4% chance, which isn't great, but honestly, I've seen worse. So, like I said, probably the best place to grind it out is over here by the abandoned coffin site of Grace. You just keep killing them. There's that one up there, the one I just killed, and then one up over on top of that coffin. You can just keep killing them and respawning in, and eventually one of them will drop it. So that is number 7, the Warped Axe. Let's move on to number 6. So next up at number 6, we have probably a lot of people's favorites, and definitely my favorite looking one in the game, the Battle Axe. I think this one looks really nice. It's probably the closest, at least in proportions, to being pretty accurate. As far as attributes required to use this one, it's 12 for strength, 8 for dexterity, has a D rating for dexterity scaling, and C for strength scaling. Our attack power on this one is 614, so just a little bit above the Warped Axe. This one starts out with the Wild Strikes weapon art, which I love, and of course can be upgraded using Ashes of War. So as far as how to get this weapon goes, there are actually 2 ways to do it. For one thing, it's the starting equipment for the hero class. So if you want to get a pair of these in your first playthrough, definitely start out as a hero because you'll start with one. And then if you want to get a second one, or if you're not a hero, then you just come to the Table of Lost Grace, and you can get here either by progressing through Stormvale Castle and resting at Lake Facing Cliffs, or by making your way into Caelid and resting at the Smoldering Church. Either way, you'll be invited and you'll be able to come to the Round Table Hold. Once here, you just run through this left passageway and you can purchase it from the Twin Maiden Husks. And you can see that you can get it here for 800 runes, so pretty cheap, not that hard to get. And like I said, if you want to get a pair of these in your first playthrough, start off as a hero, and then just buy the second one here. It's one of the best performing axes in the game, at least it made the top 6, and I love the way it looks. So that is the Battle Axe. Let's move on to number 5. Alright, so next up at number 5, we have the Stormhawk Axe, which is another one that I quite like the look of. I don't love it as much as the other ones, but it is still pretty cool. As far as attributes required to use this one, it's 19 for strength, 15 for dexterity, has a D rating for dexterity scaling, and C for strength scaling. Our attack power on the Stormhawk Axe is 700, so a pretty good step above the last one. This one has the Thunderstorm weapon art and cannot be upgraded using Ashes of War. So it lost some spaces on the ranking, even though it has a nice high attack power, because you cannot upgrade this using Ashes of War. That being said, the Thunderstorm weapon art is okay. In certain circumstances, you do this wave effect around you of lightning damage, and then it also charges up your axe. So all your strikes while that is still charged will also deal lightning damage. So it can be pretty good. As far as how to get this weapon goes, you can actually get 2 of them pretty easily, because the Nepheli Lu character, which you'll first encounter in Stormvale Castle and then later in the Table of Lost Grace, she actually has 2 of them, so you can either kill her right when you encounter her in Stormvale and you'll get 2 of them, or after you've talked to her at the Table of Lost Grace, you can then find her at the village of the Albinorics here in Liurnia, and you can kill her there and grab 2 of them. Or if you've talked to her at the Table of Lost Grace and you progress throughout the story to a certain point when you do something at the Forge of the Giants, you can come back here and the axes will just be laying on the ground because she'll be dead. Either way, you can get 2 of them from her, or you can pick up one up here in the mountaintops of the Giants region at Castle Sol, which is where I'm at. And so I'll just show you the path to how to get that. And you'll find it right on this body here. So if you look on the map, this is exactly where we're located, and this body right here will have the Stormhawk Axe. So if you don't want Nepheli Lu to die or to have to kill her, this is the area to come, and you can find one of them in your playthrough. So that is number 5, the Stormhawk Axe. Let's move on to number 4. Alright, so next up at number 4, we've got one of the stupidest looking axes in the game, the Jawbone Axe, which is just made from a large jawbone. Attributes required to use this one are 14 for strength and 8 for dexterity, has a D rating for dexterity scaling and C for strength strength. This one has an attack power of 623, and it comes with the Wild Strikes weapon art and can be upgraded using Ashes of War. So as far as how to find this one, it is a random drop from ancestral follower type enemies that wield it. So the best place to do that is down here in Siofra River, which is where I'm at by the Worshipper's Woods, or you can find some of them over in Liurnia of the Lakes, if I'm not mistaken, over here by the Ruined Labyrinth section, but it could be somewhere else. But they do also exist in Liurnia of the Lakes. I just think it's easiest to find the largest concentration of them down here in the Siofra River area. And so you can get them either from the spectral ones, which are the ones down here in the lower section, or from the regular ones that you'll find up here in the upper section. Spectral ones are probably just a little bit lower level. They seem to take a little bit less hits. But basically you just look for any of them like this one here that are wielding it, and you kill them until they drop it. They're not all that fast, so especially if you're mounted on Torrent, they're pretty easy to keep at arm's reach. And like I said, you just keep killing them until one of them drops it. So that is how you get the Jawbone axe. Let's move on to number 3. Alright, so next up at number 3, we've got kind of a goofy looking one, the Sacrificial axe. And so I like this one and don't like it. It looks pretty cool and unique, but it has a really short handle, so it just makes it look a little silly. As far as the attributes required to use this one, it's 16 for strength, 10 for dexterity, has a D rating for dexterity scaling, and C for strength. Our attack power on this one is 622, and this one comes with Wild Strikes and can be upgraded using Ashes of War. So as far as how to get this one, it is only dropped by one enemy, so you gotta get it over here by Castle Morn in the Weeping Peninsula. You can see where I've got this marker placed. That is where a Deathbird will spawn at night only, and you can kill that Deathbird and it will drop this axe. So starting from the Castle Morn Rampart site of Grace, I'll show you the path. And so you can see our Deathbird has spawned in, and all you gotta do is kill the Deathbird. Watch out, because they can be a tricky fight if you're not ready for them. And so once you've killed it, all you gotta do is wait, and you'll have it. So that is how you get the Sacrificial axe. Again, we're right here on the map. That is how and where you get it. Like I said, you gotta do this at night, but not too complicated. So that's number 3. Let's move on to number 2. Alright, so at the runner-up spot of number 2, we have the Icerind Hatchet, which is a pretty unique looking weapon, which appears to have some sort of an ice blade on it, or at least it's supposed to look kind of ice-like. As far as our attributes required to use this one, it's 11 for strength and 16 for dexterity. It has a B rating for dexterity scaling, so scales pretty dang good with dexterity, and D for strength. This one has a frost buildup of 65, so that's pretty dang good. It, however, does not have the ability to be upgraded using Ashes of War, but it has the Hoarfrost Stomps weapon art, which is one of the best ones in the game, even after it got nerfed. It's just a ranged attack that goes out and shatters a bunch of those, which really helps build up your frostbite effect. And in addition to that, it also deals a significant amount of frostbite just by using it. So it's a pretty dang good weapon, especially if you like the frostbite effect. As far as how and where to get this one, you're going to want to come over here to the Temple Quarter, and I'll just show you where to find it. So you just have to come to this chest right here, and I'll show you on the map. We're kind of at the point of this little knobbly section of the Temple Quarter, and all you have to do is walk into this tower and open this chest, and you'll find it. So again, we're at the, I guess I should zoom out just in case people don't know where the Temple Quarter is. We're here in Liurnia. Like I said, you just come here right to this point, in this little tower kind of sticking out of the ground, and open up that chest, and that's how you get the Icerind Hatchet, which is number 2. Let's move on to number 1. Alright, so finally at number 1 we have everybody's favorite axe, the Iron Cleaver, which obviously, just by looking at it, will probably tell you that it's actually not an axe, but a cleaver. But that being said, it's still in the axe category. So for dexterity, we require 7 points, and for strength, it's 15. We have a D rating for dex scaling, but B for strength, so again, it scales quite well with strength. Our attack power on this one is 643, so pretty dang high there. One of the highest in the axe category, and this one comes with the Wild Strikes weapon art, which is one of my favorites, and can be upgraded with Ashes of War. So this is just a pretty dang good all-around weapon. I definitely quite enjoy it, and use it quite a lot. So as far as how and where to get this one, it's a random drop from Misbegotten type enemies that wield it. So you can find them all over the map, biggest concentrations being in the Lindell Royal Capital, and then down here in the Weeping Peninsula, but probably the best place to go is right here at Castle Morn. I'll just quickly show you, just in case you've never been to Castle Morn. I would find that hard to believe, but you know, whatever. And so once you've rode the lift up, you'll find a whole bunch of them just sitting on this flame pile, and a whole bunch of them are wielding this weapon. So basically all you have to do is come to this spot and just kill all these misbegotten creatures, and one of them will eventually drop this cleaver. That is how and where you get it, and that is number 1. So that is the last weapon on this list. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you were looking for, you know, axes that don't require intelligence, faith, or arcane to use, because these are the 11 most notable ones in that category. So thanks for watching, especially if you made it all the way to the end, but have a nice day, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching another Dare to Game video. If you like this video, please leave a like and a comment. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you like my content and would like to support this channel, consider becoming a member today for as little as $1.99 a month. It makes a huge difference. But in any case, thanks for watching and have a nice day. I'll see you next time.